What's up, guys? Welcome into the JP and Trav Show on the JP and Trav Show YouTube channel. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. To my right, I have my esteemed brother, friend, and co-host, Travis J. Davidson. Travis, how you feeling, man?
Man, somber. It's tough to see. Guys like Danny, guys like Kelvin Gilliam, for sure move on. Obviously, OU. This is gonna be an annual thing, right? Like OU, every team is gonna have portal exits. Georgia's having them. Bama's having them. Texas is having them. You go through playoff teams. I mean, there are multiple teams that are having you know transfer portal additions right now. And it just opens up roster spots, man. It's the way of the world in 2023 going into 2024. So it's tough to see guys, especially like Kelvin and Danny, go. Been able to build some really good relationships with them and their families.
Yeah,
But it is what it is, man. It's a business, unfortunately.
indeed, indeed it is, and that's what these kids are here for. Ultimately, they're here to either get to the NFL or get opportunities to get there, or just to play. And in the case of Kelvin, that was that. And for Danny, I mean, if he got a high round grade, and it's that confident, it's hard for him to turn that down, as opposed to coming back to a conference slate like the SEC, like the one we have up next year. When you already had some injuries this year, you don't want to risk, getting injured and missing out on maybe what you could have been. Injuries derail people's careers all the time. Look at you know, up here in Indianapolis, a big fan favorite, Shaquille Leonard. His first 4 years was an All Pro every year, and he's been a shell of himself since his back injuries, and we had to release him. And it's frustrating, and whatever as it is, that's what happens with injuries. And so just to say like things can change like that. And so I know everybody wants him to come back, and I'm sure maybe there was a piece of him that certainly probably did, but you know, if he got the good grade, you got to go.
One, I mean, it's 800 more snaps in the SEC, or it's 250 snaps trying to make a team in the NFL. If you're let's call him a second round pick for now. If you're second, third round pick, those guys get signed. And if you're a top 100 player, you're going to make over $5 million in your signing bonus. So financially, it just makes sense, right? And Brent Venables, put another linebacker in the NFL. Like that's what he's supposed to do. So, and now he's got multiple All-Americans on his defense. Speaking of the All-Americans, I do think that Billy Bowman is going to stay. Call it a hunch. But I think Billy stays, personally. That's not – Billy has not told me that. Jada has not told me that. Yeah, I think Billy Bowman comes back. And, if he puts together a year like he did this year, he puts that same year. I mean, he'll be a second round guy. You know what I mean? So, but with Danny, it's financially. Here's the thing about linebackers specifically: they don't go really high, anyways. Like he wasn't going to play his way up into a top 15 pick or something like that. Like if you watch the draft, quarterbacks get overdrafted, right? Because once there's a run on quarterbacks, boom, quarterbacks go. Next, like left tackles. Hey, we need left tackles in this league, so boom, they start going. You see a little bit with corners and receivers, but you don't see a ton of like, there's a run on linebackers that don't play edge or something like that. Like there's a run on them, and we've got to go.
Yeah.
There's some teams that have a linebacker need, and we'll see if he's a guy. I know a lot of services have him as like top 4, top 5, top 6 type linebacker in the class. We'll see. Different teams like different things for different schemes. There's no doubt about it. But anyways, I again call it a hunch that Billy stays. Not sourced. I'm not scooping anything. I'm not breaking any news. But I just have and that's not a shot at Scoop. I like those guys over there. It's just quite literally called a scoop. So, no, I think Billy stays. Danny obviously going to go. I hope that he puts out something soon so the fans can show him his appropriate love like they did Kelvin today. So is what it is. But you saw a linebacker offer go out. So
Yeah.
I mean to Chris Paul or Pooh Paul, like Pooh Bear, Pooh Paul. He was 2022. He was an All SEC freshman linebacker. He was an All SEC All SEC honorable mention at linebacker this year. So that's a guy that Oklahoma's going to go after. And really, JP, they've got a good argument, right? Hey, look, the reason we need a linebacker is because the last guy was an All-American and declared as a junior for the NFL.
Yeah.
So at a position where a lot of people aren't jumping, right, at linebacker. So, and he only got 2 years in the system. So keep in mind, Danny stuck around. Like Danny could have left. Danny got recruited by Grinch and Odom. Like he could have left whenever. But yeah, if we can land him, I'm actually pretty confident in our room. I mean, getting an All-American back obviously would have been ideal. Nobody's here trying to minimize the effect of not having Danny in that defense, especially from just a leader standpoint. But Lewis Carter played really well, or Kip Lewis played really well late. Kobe McKenzie played well in Bedlam when Danny was hurt. Jaron Kanik, who was an offensive player in high school, got moved to linebacker. Still doesn't know what he's doing, but he's such an athletic freak. He's got that upside. So we're young. Obviously, you got Samuel Masiga, Lewis Carter, and Phil Picciotti, a great young, kind of next man up type situation. So I'm excited about the linebacker core. Would love to have Pooh Paul, but I think we're in good shape regardless. And I saw State 5 Stinks put out that Swaim said that there's another big one for OU. Swaim's an OSU guy. He trolls OU fans all the time. I don't know if there's going to be, I don't think there can be anybody bigger than your All-American leader of your defense, leading tackler, everybody. Like, it's just not the case. So Greg Swaim's the guy that follows and then unfollows and follows and unfollows and tries to get you to follow back, and then he unfollows you later. That's how he farms followers and claims to be this big media guy, but I don't believe anything Swaim says. But
yeah,
we see all the Dominic McKinley stuff. I talked to one of the recruits in the class earlier. He wasn't heavily confident with it, but he did say that a couple of the recruits are in McKinley's ear, and I'm not just talking Nigel Smith. So he mentioned some others that were in his ear. So all the relationships are gone at A&M. I mean, his defensive line coach is gone. His defensive coordinator is gone. His head coach is gone. So everybody that recruited him there is gone. So we'll see. We'll see. But Hayes' tweet is not about Dominic McKinley. I know that much.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that, going back to your linebacker, what we were talking about the linebackers, Trav, we have a great young room, and, similar to the conversation we were having with the wide receivers, last year, some of us just no production. Like, yeah, Kip got on the field towards the end of the year, and obviously Jaron started early, but Kobe McKenzie, you talk about, again, like you said, Phil Picciotti, Lewis Carter, even Desan, to a lesser degree, that a lot of these guys that are in year one, like we saw the jump Danny made from year 1 to year 2, right? And if we can expect,
and that's having Danny. Yes, he played it in high school, but he learned a different system.
yeah,
It was still Danny's first year in the system.
yeah.
So I think Jaron's going to pick it up quickly.
Yeah, Samuel Shamigo as well. That's right, Gunny. But yeah, I mean, we could be looking at a situation like that where wide receivers popped off this year, and linebackers. Even though you lose a guy like Danny Stutzman, it's like the wide receivers lost a guy like Marvin Mims, right, second rounder. But the wide receiver room as a whole was way better this year than it was last year or like the previous year. So we'll see what happens. I don't. What does that mean? How is he small? I don't think he's very small. Small how? I need you to explain that, man, because he's not a small human being. You're muted, Trev.
He's listed 6'2", 230.
That's not small.
Yeah, I mean, Pooh is smaller than that. I'm going to say Pooh a lot more than I ever have on a podcast.
Does he want him to be like 6'5", 260? He want to be like, golly, Iguebu?
Yeah, defensive end.
Because, man.
I mean, Kenneth Murray is 6'2", 240.
Yeah, not that much bigger. So,
I don't think. Yeah, Pooh. I think Stutzman is just kind. I mean, he's kind of tall. He's 6'4", but yeah, I don't think 6'2", 230 is small for a linebacker, in my opinion.
Please tell me this is not real. That's such a joke.
Swaim's an idiot.
That is such a joke. Yeah, guys. I mean, tonight we're gonna get into recruiting the portal as we already have, and we'll talk a little bit about the Alamo Bowl matchup. We'll have a couple weeks here to talk about that, but obviously, so many things have happened. Dylan Gabriel, is in the portal. Deciding, and we talked about this last week. Just you know, possibility it could happen, and now he's got an opportunity to go somewhere and prove his mettle somewhere else. And just grateful for the quarterback and the leader that he was here. I mean, so many great stories have come out, and I hope that Sooners fans truly appreciate what Dylan Gabriel was able to provide the program these last few years. You had Tawee Walker go in the portal as well. And I don't know the particulars on that one, Trav. I've heard some speculation on terms of they weren't going to give him a scholarship. I don't know whether that's true or not, or whatever. But certainly seems like there's not bad blood between him and DeMarco. DeMarco quote tweeted his tweet, and
Yeah, I think he's just going to go get more opportunity somewhere else. That's fine.
Yeah, and I know people are like, "How do we let our second best running back from this year go?" And the truth is, like, yes, Tawi's good. Don't get us wrong, but like, you still have a Gavin Sawchuk who came on towards the end of the year. Who knows? Like, hopefully Javante Barnes gets healthy, and we've seen his upside when he's healthy. You still have Caleb Hicks. You have the number one running back recruit in the nation coming in.
And you could have a guy like Rocket Sanders or, Travis Etienne or Trevor Etienne.
Yeah.
I think he's Georgia bound. But, I mean, you're making offers.
Yeah, correct. So, obviously it's you don't like to see things like that happen. I mean, you saw Savion Bird to the portal as well. We've seen some defensive linemen to the portal. Obviously, Kevin Gilliam being one of those that we saw earlier today. But ultimately, the portal gives, the portal takes away, and so.
Well, and we're going to add less than we did last year, JP.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, ugh, whole new roster. It's like, we're going to take a big class.
We're taking Robinson. Sorry, I forgot about him.
27, 28. Yeah. And then you're going to have probably 9, 10 portal guys. Last year we took 19. 19.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, Tim. Yeah, I know X is coming. X is doing some recruiting as far as, Tim, last I heard, X is doing some recruiting. So, we'll see. We'll see.
You're talking about Taviano. I think he already committed to Missouri.
Toriano Pride, yeah. And that's the thing. he entered the portal with a do not contact tag. That means Missouri had been tampering.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And who knows? Maybe we've been tampering. I don't know. But and then Makuba, we don't need a safety. And he's from Austin. His high school coach now coaches at Texas. And they've had 3 safeties enter the portal.
Texas has?
Yeah. And that's what, people are like, Texas, good roster. They've got studs across the defensive, bona fide studs across the defensive line, all-American studs.
Mm-hmm.
They've got good linebacker play, really good linebacker play. Their secondary is the only thing that is really lacking, and that's why some people think Washington has a chance because obviously they like to throw the ball down the field with Penix. So, OU needs corners more than they need safeties. I know a lot of people think Clemson defender, they want to go under Brent. You still have to look at the current roster and see if we even have a spot for him.
Yeah.
So we don't. He's going to be a Longhorn, and everybody's going to say, man, why couldn't we get him? It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sooner Cowboys, that was pride. That was the do not contact tag.
Yeah.
Weird. Yes, everybody, Makuba's going to Texas because his high school coach coaches there now. He's from Austin. They have had 3 safeties enter the portal. Honestly, I think they're probably going to pick up a big time wide receiver or 2 as well because A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy are both likely gone. I know Worthy's gone, and they're going to have a lot of targets open up. So, regardless, you got to look at what we have, what we need, right? I want the chat to tell us, and JP, I want you to tell us what your position wish list is, highest priority.
Yeah.
What position do you think is the most important for Oklahoma to get in the portal? Give me JP, give me offense and then give me defense.
Offensively, I would probably say tight end or offensive line. I mean, I'm trying to think between the two. Obviously, you have Davon Mitchell coming in, but he's still. I mean, as good as he's gonna be, it's still one guy, still a freshman. You want somebody that's seasoned in there. We won't really have that because Stogner's done. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Stogner's done. Even if Helms plays, he hasn't played a snap yet. A true meaningful snap for Oklahoma. So, is Llewellyn still here, or is he the one that portaled?
Llewellyn portaled.
Llewellyn portaled. So I think that's a position as well for offense. Defense, I think the defensive line for sure. Because we're losing a couple guys in that interior specifically. I know we're gaining a few as well, but just losing seniors, excuse me, that we are. I think I won't say it's concerning necessarily, but just we're going to need some more depth and experience depth.
Yeah, I think as far as O-line goes, we already brought in Spencer Brown, obviously the tackle, 6'6" tackle from Michigan State. I think there's that North Texas offensive lineman that I can't, I don't have it in front of me, but it's a difficult name to pronounce. But Seth Luttrell and Bill Bedenbaugh both are recruiting him right now. Obviously, Seth Luttrell recruited him to North Texas. So he was a freshman All-American stud. So in the portal, I like OU's chances there simply because of the Luttrell connection. And if anybody knows how successful Bill Bedenbaugh is at developing offensive linemen, it's his brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. So I do think we need a tight end just to get more in the room. I mean, you've got your offensive coordinator, former tight ends coach, who's a fullback. And then you've got Joe John Finley, former fullback, and he's the co-offensive coordinator. Former tight end, current tight end coach, and co-offensive coordinator. They're going to use more tight ends. I think we're going to be in a lot more 11 personnel, 12 personnel. Like, I think that Devon Mitchell absolutely is going to contribute. But keep in mind, he reclassified from 2025 to 2024. So he should be a senior in high school. And we're saying, nah, not a senior in high school, SEC football. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
So, anyways, tight end for sure. Interior offensive line. Like, Caden Green came into Oklahoma as a tackle. They moved him mid-season to guard because they needed him. And then in Texas, obviously, he played the first time he played guard since like 8th grade. So you've got Taylor, who primarily played tackle, and he brought in as a tackle. Sexton, who's definitely a tackle. Caden Green, who's a tackle. And then you bring in Spencer Brown, who started 25 games at right tackle. Like, I get you want people to be versatile, but you need to address the interior of the line. So obviously Caden Green, I think, is a great option at guard. He looked great. He looks like he's got an elite future, like big time future draft pick at guard. Sky's the limit. But I think you need to address the interior. I'm not big on backup quarterback. I think you roll with what you got. And, let the chips fall where they may, I suppose. But I don't – on defense, it's defensive line and corner. That's what it is to me. I'm fine with our young linebacker core. I think they're really talented. I think they've got good coaching. And then, like, what would you say, JP, are our two most secure position groups? And hold on, I want to answer. I forgot the other interior part of the line. Mess says center. I think Troy Everett starts at center. In 2022, he was a freshman All-American at center. And then he came here essentially to back up Rame because we lost Robert Conjul and like Josh Bates was a true freshman. So Troy Everett comes in and sits behind Rame after already being a true freshman All-American. Or a freshman All-American, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Comes, learns the system here. I think Troy Everett is your center. I like Josh Bates a lot, and I think it's going to be a battle. But I think that Everett's got the leg up just based on experience and already having production and playing last year when they needed him in a pinch. Very solid. So, anyway, sorry, I'll go back to the question of what two position groups do you think we're most secure? Yes, punter. I like me some Luke Elzinga. But outside of the specialists, what do you think are our two most secure position groups?
One offense, one defense, or it doesn't matter?
Sure.
Offensively, in my opinion, I mean, obviously you could say no. I mean, we're talking about rooms. I won't say quarterback necessarily, but I would say wide receiver. I think on the offensive side of the ball, as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then defensively, probably linebackers or safety. Now, I do want to ask a question because I heard you say cornerback. I've seen a lot of other people saying cornerback. Maybe I'm missing something. Are we like? I know we're losing Woody, but do we not? Is it just because we feel like we don't have the experience there?
Experience and depth. I mean, Josiah Wagner got good playing time.
Yeah.
Gentry is a star, but that shoulder kept on popping out.
Right.
So I don't know if he'll have to have
You got you got a bunch of guys.
Makari there.
Makari, Jaden Rowe.
So J Rose dealt with injuries, hasn't played much.
Yeah.
Gentry's dealt with injuries. He has played a decent amount and played very well. Otherwise you've got some young dudes.
Two freshmen coming in too.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah, down the road you could get a Jacoby Johnson and a Jaden Rowe. Like I said, we've talked about it on each side, and you got 6'2" and 6'3", freak athletes. Good luck, but yeah, I think that yeah, no doubt. I think that safety is in good shape,
Yeah.
even more so than linebacker. And it's assuming, like I said, my gut is telling me that Bowman comes back. It is not sourced. It is not official. That is not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That is me simply just making a somewhat educated guess that Billy Bowman comes back. It could be that gut feeling, or it could be the gut feeling that all these pickled jalapenos and pickled garlic are giving me. One of the two. One of the two. But also, I guess this is a good time to have this conversation. Just because you recruit a portal player from North Texas, from San Diego State, from I don't know, whoever, that doesn't mean they're no good.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I mean, you just lost a bunch of guys from OU, and somebody will say, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool. We got." I love him to death, but they're like, "We got Marcus Hicks from OU." Well, Marcus Hicks never played here. He went back and forth, position. But somebody's going to say, well, from OU, so it's got to be amazing. Meanwhile, you can get a guy like Troy Everett from Appalachian State. He comes in, and he's going to be a starter for you.
Yep.
So the further you get removed from high school, and I'm squarely in the Stars Matter camp, but you've got to, like, once they're in college and they have production to show, and they've shown that they can be away from their parents. They show that they can pay their bills on time. They show that they can fend for themselves. Like, I'm fine. So sorry, I had to get that up.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Because people are like, I can't believe we're getting G5 guys. It's like, dude, they can play.
Yeah.
Indiana's one of the worst programs in the country, and Deshaun McCullough is going to be really good once he, kind of gets used to the system.
Yep. You should assist them another year in the weight room as well.
Yep.
Yeah. See what
I don't. Center would be good for depth less.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we have a third though. Like, it's going to be tough to find
a third center.
Yeah, because I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to just get more at guard, and they can play center if we get past Everett and Bates. But Everett's a natural center. He just had experience, so they put him in at guard because it was a revolving door. They had injuries left and right. McCade goes out. Savion goes out. They have to move true freshmen from tackle to guard. Like, they were trying like hell to figure out what to do with guard, and Troy Everett was just there. He was nothing special by any means, but he's naturally a center. That's why he's been a freshman All-American at center.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I still need some more interior offensive linemen.
Yeah. 17 players is crazy.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that EPL, if he does commit to the Sooners, is going to be ready to start right away in the SEC. Although he is almost college ready. That man's a physical monster.
Big. For sure. Let's continue to get some questions in here, guys, as we go on down this rabbit hole of recruiting and portaling and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw, Trav, but I'm in the Texas fans little pot again. It wasn't me. They came at me.
What do you do?
They
I know better.
a 2.5. Listen, Trav, they
I know
put up
better.
they put up
You
a
can't help
2.
yourself.
No, they put up a 2.5-year-old video, dog, from February of 2021. And admittedly, I said, when you make the college football playoff, come find me. And so a bunch of them now
They
are
came and found you.
they did, and it's fine. Like, cool, like that's all good. But it's just funny because a lot of them are acting like I just made that tweet like recently, and it wasn't almost 3 years ago. A lot happens in 3 years. So, but I just yeah, it's been hilarious and interesting dealing with that today.
I know. I was catching strays out of nowhere. I'm like, dang,
Yeah,
man.
you did. They're like you and your little grill buddy or whatever that cooked hamburgers for Lincoln. I'm just like, can we stop with that narrative? Like, he cooked steaks, wagyu steak, like, yeah. I'm like,
Also, this is where it's going to be really weird. There have been a lot of people that have catered meals for recruiting events. Not everybody did. They don't say, "Oh, you cooked here. Have a radio show. Do like."
yeah,
They don't do that. Like,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I took advantage of an opportunity and tried to make the most of it, but yeah, there were stakes, and it
yeah,
was twice.
yeah. It just
But yeah, you love fighting with Longhorns, man. I can't do it.
listen. I haven't been. I've been chill because if there's Texas is right now in a position not where they're I would say they're full program like longevity wise, but like yeah, like this year, yes, we beat them, but certainly they made the playoff. Like, and they have an opportunity even to win a playoff game for the first time because they have a really good matchup in Washington. That while Washington's good, I mentioned this in my video. I would have rather played this Washington team than 2017 Georgia, 2018 Alabama,
Yeah,
and 2019 LSU. Like, I I just would have in 2015 Clemson. Like, those teams were all unequivocally better than this Washington team. This is one of the weaker playoffs that we've had in terms of like there's no one dominant team. It's really up for grabs. And so I hate to say it, Texas could win the national championship. Like,
yeah,
that's not out of the realm of possibility. And it just is what it is. And so if they win a game or end up winning the natty, like, I'm not gonna say anything. There's nothing for me to say. My issue is their delusion because me and you are reasonable people that like when we're coming off of 6 years straight of winning Big 12 championships, we're gonna talk. They're coming off of, just firing Tom Herman at that point and just hiring Steve Sarkisian, talking reckless when you've been down for more than a decade. And so now you finally won a Big 12 championship, finally, after 14 years, and you made your first playoff. Like, you want a cookie. That's what it kind of feels like. But anyways.
yeah.
So
Can you still hear me?
yeah, I can still hear you. You're a little
Okay.
frustrated, but
I'm like, wait a minute. Oh well, it'll get back going. But I'm gonna hop back in.
all right, go ahead. But yeah, guys, I mean that's what it was. I just I, it's just funny to me that you had all these Texas fans flocking to this like I had just made this, and they're all like, "Oh, like why are you in our why is our voice or why is our team in your mouth and all this stuff?" I was like, "Guys, this is did you watch the date or look at the date at all? Like, this is from February of 2021. This is not even close to being at this time. Like, great job. You found me because you made the college football playoff. Now, good luck. If you lose, I'm gonna be on your head because you guys were on our head when we lost. Like, oh, you made the playoffs. Like, you're just playing for participation trophies. Big 12 championships are the only thing that matter to you. I'm gonna say the same stuff, and I encourage y'all to do it too because they pumped that for years. But yeah, I'm just hopeful that we don't have to deal with if they do end up beating Washington, and Washington is super beatable. They just are. They got a good team, but it just they have a good chance. And I hate to say it, like they just do better chance than almost we ever had besides Baker's year, just because of the talent of the teams that are in it this year. And not that those teams aren't good, but we I think we can all certainly say this is a year where we feel like it's as even a playing field as it's been. And you can let me know if I'm wrong. Bama's not the same Bama that they have been. They've come on as of late. Washington again is it has been good, but they're not dominant. And Michigan is the closest thing to a dominant team, but you know they haven't really played anybody except for Ohio State, truly. And Ohio State, did a good job taking them to the end there, but is what it is. So, but yeah, let's get some questions in here, y'all, so we can continue to roll. Dr. Sean Strong, are you sure that you hate Texas? I think this is the 40th time you said that, so
That's good. I
appreciate
like
your
that.
yeah. Hey, maybe Texas fans wouldn't be tripping on me as much if they knew that I almost picked them to win the Red River rivalry this
Almost. You did.
year.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's yeah, maybe they'll watch some Caden Green tape and be able to take out Devondre Sweat.
hey. What? Yeah,
What what did you feel about the playoff? Because we haven't talked about it. Florida State
oh,
gets screwed.
let's talk about that real quick before we answer any questions. Let's talk.
Who would your playoff have been?
For me, it would have been
And I want the comments to tell me too.
yes.
If most of you left out Florida State and don't care about what happens on the field.
It would have been Michigan. Do you want me to say in order or just the four?
You can just say the four, it doesn't matter.
Michigan, um, Washington, Texas, and Florida State would have been my four.
Okay.
Because you can't put Alabama in without Texas. Because Texas
Why not?
Texas beat them. They have head to head.
I mean, Florida State won all their games in the Power 5 conference.
No, I agree. I'm just saying like
so you can
I'm
put
saying
them
that
in, you
if
can
somebody
leave
was
them out.
going to if somebody was going to put Alabama in, you'd also have to put Texas in, I believe. But Florida State should be in regardless. They should be in regardless of anything else. So that shouldn't happen. Like
I
Florida State's
think
an undefeated Power 5 champion.
Alabama. So this would have been my four: Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Alabama. Because I think the SEC champion, you're not going to get left out, obviously, as we saw.
I mean, yeah.
It would have come
That's
down to Florida
easy.
State and Texas for me, because Alabama would have had the best win of the season, which is over number 1 Georgia.
Yes, over Georgia. Yeah.
They would have had the best loss, which was Texas.
Yeah.
And that was it. And the loss was in September when
Yeah.
Dion was still undefeated.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I hear that.
so in a world of, what have you done for me lately? I feel like Bama, but man, Florida State, like, I just don't think you can leave out a team based on injuries.
Yeah.
I think you are making assumptions when you don't have to. They very easily could have just left out, like, but that's the thing. I don't think you have to. Florida State, I think at a bare minimum, I think being an undefeated Power 5 champion is an auto bid.
Yes.
Like, I think it's an auto bid. And then you can argue Alabama versus Texas for the last spot.
Yes.
But all this eye test, no, you won all your games. You played 2 SEC teams. You beat them both. You gave LSU their worst loss of the season, which, if you want to count Texas's win in September, you've certainly got to count Florida State's win in September. Like, you got to do it. Actually, that might have been in August. But regardless, it's like Florida State needed to be in. It doesn't matter if they didn't move the ball.
They
Michigan
also
didn't move
would
the
have got
ball.
their other quarterback back. Like
Right.
they
They wouldn't have been playing with their third stringer. They would have had a month for the guy to heal. It wouldn't have been Jordan Travis, but it still wouldn't have been the third stringer. So they would have had their backup in. They would have had a month to get him right because he hadn't played much. So you get a month to get him right. You've got an NFL defense. You got a first round pick on the offense. You got a first round pick on the defense. And like all of a sudden it's like, oh, sorry, you couldn't move the ball with your third stringer. Well, cool. Third stringer ain't playing. So, and the timing of it. Jordan Travis got hurt weeks ago. Yet you kept them at the number 4 spot after the Florida win when they played with their backup. And then you dropped them from 4 to 6 or 4 to 5. You raised 7 to 4, or sorry, 8 to 4 and 7 to 3. Both jumping number 4, who won a game in a conference championship game over the number 14 ranked team in the country. Like,
yeah.
I just don't think you can look Florida State in the face and say, "Oh, I'm devastated. My heart goes out to those kids." No, it doesn't. Shut up. Shut up, Herb Street. Shut up, Fowler. Shut up, all you. Oh, my heart bleeds for them. Shut up.
No, it does not. That I'd be. I'm just as pissed, not just as pissed, but dang near as Mike Norvell. Because how do you, especially in coaching varsity basketball this year? I'm not sitting there telling my kids like, oh, we don't care about the season because it is what it is at the end. Like, if as long as we feel like we're one of the best teams in this region, we'll get chosen to be a top seed. No, like that's not how this works. You work your butt off in practice to have great performance in games, and obviously in football, specifically college football, like you never think in a Power Five conference you're going to go freaking 13-0, and yes, you lose your Heisman contender at quarterback, but like who in their right mind thinks you're going 13-0 in a Power Five conference, and that you will somehow be arbitrarily left out? Like,
Well, and not only that, but like Mess or MES. I'm not sure what to call you, but what Mess said, playoff committee watched the conference championships game together. FSU did not impress. Yeah, with their third string quarterback, who wouldn't have played in the playoff game.
correct.
Like,
Did they pay attention to defense?
right? Did they see the championship level defense with NFL dudes all over it?
It's not about that, Trav. They don't want this low scoring games. They want the flash. You know that.
It's just crazy to me because Florida State, undefeated Power 5 champ. All this, like, there have been multiple comments, and then you said you can't leave this team out, or you can't put this team in because of this. You can't leave this team out because of this. The number one auto bid that exists or that should exist in this system is undefeated Power 5 champ.
100%.
Because at what point do you say, okay, say next Danny Stutzman goes out.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you measure that? Okay, big time player goes out. Maybe they're not as good. Maybe a young guy steps up. Like, is it just quarterback? Is it just if the quarterback goes out? And if so, how are you supposed to judge? Like, it's a slippery slope because the committee said, I know you've won all your games and you're a Power 5, Power 5 conference champion, undefeated, but all of us who most of us didn't play football or coach football, we went to business school and we're executives and we understand how the money works. And we went to business school, we went to law school. So that ended us up in this room. And we've decided with all of our vast football knowledge that we don't care that you won all of your games. We don't think you'll be any good because you have your third string guy. Even though you wouldn't have your third string guy, you'd have your second string guy. I don't know.
So
I could talk about it all night. We should probably move on.
it's just so crazy, like that you get to decide that for somebody. Like exactly how they'll perform.
As if you know.
Yeah. Like it's not like it's the Pop Warner champions versus Alabama or something. Like this is not like you're playing high level Division One football, dog, and you went 13-0, and you won a conference championship undefeated. You're not group of five,
Keep-
but
I mean, it's more impressive to win a conference championship with your third string quarterback.
correct, 100%.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So, but next year you don't have to worry about that because the conference champions get auto bids. So, but it's just stupid. Like
As they should.
it should have been that way.
As they should. I think Florida State's got a bunch of dudes opting out anyways.
I'm sure. I wouldn't play in a meaningless. But I mean, you went 13-0, bro.
Like I would like. I mean, I put the tweet out. It was a little emotional at the time. I get it, but it's like if they should have told those first round picks or those fringe guys maybe they needed to start preparing for the combine so they could show out or their pro day, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like because
No,
combine shape is not football shape. You need to actually change your body for that. So, like, I would have said, "Oh, Jordan Travis is out. Oh, we're not allowed to make the playoff anymore. Oh, you should have told us. We would have been. We would have opted out 3 weeks ago and started training. If our season is now meaningless, but you know whose season is not meaningless? Porter Mosers, the OU basketball team.
Facts.
So, yes, Chris McClellan will be visiting, but yeah, the basketball team, man, I was able to go down there and watch them play Providence.
Ooh, they're athletic.
They're so good, man. They're so athletic. I mean, the defense.
McCollum.
The defense.
Jeez.
J.V. McCollum. Otega Owe now by No Ceilings. The No Ceilings guys over there.
Yeah.
They've got Otega Owe as the number 29 overall pick. First rounder. Losa Uzan was supposed to be our first rounder. He had a good game. He didn't have any assists, but he had like 12, 13 rebounds, something like that. I mean, it was awesome, man. And I hope that some of you, most of you, are going to come to Tulsa and come to that OU Arkansas game on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's gonna be a good one.
Gonna be awesome. So, I think this Luby Dude person is a Texas fan. If they aren't, I apologize. But
no, they definitely are.
No Alamo Bowl breakdown.
I heard about Texas stuff earlier. We have plenty of time to talk about the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah,
like
Texas has played in more Alamo Bowls than any other school in its history. So, Luby, you should know when the Alamo Bowl is because, again, your team has frequented it more than all of them. So that game is on December 28th. We'll talk about it around then. But OU men tip off against the Razorbacks at 3 p.m. on Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. I'll be doing radio right across the street from 1 until 2:30, right across the street. I get to walk down the road here and go to the game. I'll just take my radio equipment right down the sidewalk. So I'm excited for that. Might even have a few beers at the game. Who knows? Because I can walk home. But yep. So basketball team's good. I said this on Twitter, but I want to repeat it here. If you're looking for a good gift for an OU fan in your life, OU men's basketball and OU women's basketball have a doubleheader on a Saturday, January 6th, noon for the women, 6 o'clock for the men. What I would recommend doing, the tickets are affordable, and you got plenty of time to plan for, and it's after the holidays. People will kind of calm down, a week into January. So go watch the women play at noon, get down there about 3, roll over to the Mont, have some swirls, or hit up Campus Corner, whatever, and then go back for the men's game at 6 p.m. So It's a Saturday. Go watch a little basketball. It's the women play Cincinnati, the men play Iowa State. And if we're able to get to 12-1 in non-con, we're at 8-0 now. If we win 4 of the next 5, then all we have to do is split our Big 12 games, and we'll have won the most games since 2016. So, for those of you that forget what happened in 2016, we went to the Final Four.
God, it just had I don't remember.
We won't talk about what happened once we got to the Final Four, but we went to the Final Four.
I ain't never seen us shoot that bad. Flashbacks. Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah. So, anyways, roll to the basketball game for those of you that are in Norman. I'm wondering, where is I know where Gunny's at. I know where Oofta Skull is at. Looby Doob is a Bama fan. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend by calling you a Texas fan. That's our bad. Shout out. I hope you watch a lot of Ty Hayes around the table sports. He's our favorite Bama fan. Where are you all from? Are any of you local to Norman, local to Oklahoma, local to Tulsa? Or am I telling a bunch of people that live in Pennsylvania to make sure that they come to
Hayes, Kansas? Okay, Jaron Kanek, I see you.
I'll tell you what, my dad and I drove through Hayes, Kansas on the way back from BYU game. Man, that place is hideous. No offense, Les. I'm sure your place is awesome. But when we drove through, it was gray, it was rainy, cold and windy and just gross. Yeah, not a fan of Hayes. But, okay, so Dallas, Tulsa. Hopefully Shannon's coming to the game. Jay Winslow, hopefully you're coming to the game. Waurika, I have no idea where that is.
No.
Raised in Tulsa, born in Norman. Okay. Dwayne, you better be coming to the game. Okay, we got a couple 918ers here that hopefully are coming to the game. Well, like I said, come to the OU Arkansas basketball game. But, JP, you got any questions? You got about 7 minutes left.
7 minutes. Yeah. I haven't seen many questions, to be honest. Y'all throw them in there. It's just been mostly comments. Chicken 1515, our guy, asked which program y'all think made the best head coach hire so far.
Ooh.
It's a good one.
That's a really good one. Who do you think?
Trying to remember them all, to be honest. You have obviously Mississippi State, A&M, Syracuse. I mean, Syracuse just off of that clip was very good, but
yeah, and the staff he's putting together is awesome.
Yeah. Indiana. That's not a bad hire.
Yeah, Duke hired New Mexico hired Bronco Mendenhall. Duke got Manny Diaz, I believe. Mm-hmm. So back to the ACC for him.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think Elko's a bad hire.
I don't.
I think they got lucky because I think they tried to hire other dudes, and I think Elko's actually a good hire. I just don't think they meant to hire him initially, so it still means that they're bad at their job.
Yeah.
Same thing with Colin Klein. I think that I think it's a fine hire, but they tried to go after LSU's offensive coordinator. I think they tried to go after Oregon's offensive coordinator. Like, in both scenarios, Texas A&M didn't get their first choice or second choice. But I think they ended up doing fine with that because I don't trust their decision making. Yeah, Steve Bullard, whoever hires Matt Wells. Man, at this point, I'm like, man, I hope Matt Wells. I hope they don't take him from us.
I know.
He's coached quarterbacks before. I'd love to have him still on staff.
He sticks around. I mean, I'd probably have to say it's probably between A&M and Mississippi State. I mean, I think Levy's a good fit at Mississippi State for how they've been able to be a relevant program historically, with just exciting offenses with Dan Mullen, obviously with the late great Mike Leach, and now you bring Jeff Levy, who's from that tree, and is able to do some of those things, and I think will recruit well. Obviously knows the area from being at Ole Miss, and I think he'll bring an exciting type of football. Be interesting to see what their defense looks like, but I think he'll bring an exciting type of football to Starkville. So that's probably what I would say, just based off of how I feel. The Syracuse coach is probably close second. I would need to do more research into that. It's very surface level for me, but
I like the Levy hire. I mean, I think it's risky for Zach.
yeah,
I'm not sure I would have made it
yeah,
because, look, Mississippi State does not win a lot of football games historically. They simply don't.
mhm,
So if Levy goes there and he doesn't win a lot of football games, then you can say, if you're Zach, you can say, we're still, building this thing. It's like expectations are low there. But if you lose a lot of games and Art Briles is on the sideline every game, then you have more of a problem on your hands than just losses. So Zach took a risk. Hopefully Levy wins a bunch of games there. I really hope he does. But I just think it was a risky hire for that and that alone because he was already defiant at Oklahoma and he wasn't in charge.
yeah.
He was already defiant.
He's already that way. Yeah,
So I don't know. Once it's the head guy, I don't think he's going to let anybody tell him that Art can't hang out in the program or do whatever.
yep, he'll be there.
So I don't know. It's going to be risky, but I do think he's a good coach.
All right, guys, more questions. Oh, maybe we talked about this a little bit. Who are we getting / projecting to get from the portal?
Projecting to get, I mean, we've already got Spencer Brown, the tackle.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely going to be a player for Chris McClellan. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I hope Levy wins a lot of games, just not against us. I hope that's clear.
Yeah.
I'm out on Jalen Conyers altogether.
Really?
Yeah. You've got a couple other tight end targets that I like. But like that Holden kid, you've just got a decent amount of tight ends visiting. But I'd love to at least get Rocket Sanders on a visit. You have the UT Martin running back that rushed for a whole bunch of yards, and I think 6.2 yards per carry, which is always good. So yeah, the main corner, I believe, Holden stays, I think, right? There's no T on the end. I could be wrong, James. But yes, that's the guy I'm talking about. Yeah. The Thor Griffith, Steve, absolutely. Name and GPA alone from Harvard, the defensive tackle from Harvard. I believe he's a true nose tackle, if I'm not mistaken. But I think On3 ranks him as like the number 3 or number 4 defensive lineman in the class. So, anyways, I think Holden stays or Redmond would be the tight ends I look at. Like I said, I'm out on Conyers. So
yeah.
When will OU basketball lose a game? Never again. Maybe in Charlotte when they play North Carolina. That'll be a tough game. Maybe Saturday if they have such a home court advantage that they can't overcome it.
Yeah.
Hicks and Dindy, neither of them are in the portal yet. I'm not sure they will be, but I know that they're not yet. But, I mean, I think the Burks kid, who was like Bolitnikoff, watch list type guy. I think if you take a wide receiver, you've got to take big time guy. Because Nick Anderson was just named freshman All-American by somebody. Burks is who I'm talking about, Topher. Jaron Bradley would be cool too, but I like Burks a lot. I mean, if Farouk doesn't declare, and you've got a lot of wide receivers coming in, I don't think we need them. And I think there are other teams that need them worse, and I think they'll probably go there.
Yeah.
Because I think Jaden Gibson is ready for starter reps. I think Nick Anderson is ready for starter reps. I think you can move Farouk to the slot if you want. The Atlantic was the one I was thinking of, Mess. Appreciate it. Jaquez Petaway is definitely going to get some run. He's got great chemistry with Arnold. So, Tim, any of the 20 Florida guys who are leaving, man, maybe. I hope Chris McClellan.
Yeah.
I would like ETN as well, but I don't think that's happening. But give me one. Give me one. I'll take it.
Well, we'll just have to see, what happens in the next few weeks or so.
Andrew Anthony, thank you for calling that out, Boomer 129.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good at wide receiver.
Yeah.
You've got to get like a Bolitnikoff guy or an All-American to transfer. Like, that's it.
But
Gunny, never change your name.
Just keep it forever. You can follow him in the NFL.
Yeah. He didn't die. All right.
Well, guys, we've enjoyed the time tonight. Thanks for everybody who's out here. Please like the video on your way out. Just takes a quick second to hit that like button. And those of you who are listening now, throughout Friday and this weekend, go ahead and hit that like button. We appreciate your support, your love. Follow us on Twitter at our Twitter names that are down here, our handles right there, and follow the at JP and Trav Show as well. We're encroaching 1,000 followers, so go ahead and follow us on that account. Appreciate you guys.
We're approaching 1,000 followers.
I mean, we're not at 900. We're close to 900. We're closer to 900, but
wow,
not that far.
We're going.
Yeah. So appreciate everybody and love y'all, and we'll be ready to see you guys back here next Thursday. Boomer.
See you guys.